Aliens watched human horror films. Now they refuse to visit Earth the Galactic. Council's Xenobiological Research Division had always prided itself on thorough preparation. Before any first contact protocol could be initiated, they studied every available transmission, analyzed behavioral patterns, and constructed comprehensive psychological profiles of potential new species. When humanity's radio signals first reached their monitoring stations, Dr. Zethkari of the Vorthan Empire volunteered to lead the research team. Fascinating, Zethkari murmured, his 4 eyes gleaming as he reviewed the initial data streams. They call themselves humans, bipedal, carbon-based, remarkably similar to 17 other species we've successfully integrated into the Council. His research assistant, Quindle, nodded enthusiastically. The preliminary scans suggest they're technologically primitive, but advancing rapidly. Perfect candidates for guided integration. The research began optimistically. The team cataloged human languages, studied their news broadcasts, and analyzed their educational content. Everything seemed perfectly normal, perhaps even disappointingly mundane. Humans appeared to be just another species of peaceful gatherers who had recently discovered space travel. Then Quindle discovered what humans call entertainment media. "Dr. Zethkari," she whispered, her voice trembling as she burst into his laboratory. "You need to see this immediately." The first film they watched was something called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Within the opening minutes, Zethkari's breathing apparatus began wheezing in distress. By the halfway point, 3 research assistants had requested medical leave. When the credits rolled, the entire team sat in stunned silence. "Surely," Zethkari stammered, "this must be historical documentation? Perhaps a recording of some ancient conflict?" Quindle's research proved otherwise. Not only was it fiction entertainment, created purely for enjoyment, but humans have produced thousands of such films. The database was overwhelming. Halloween, The Exorcist, Alien, The Thing, Saw, Hostel, Hereditary, each title more terrifying than the last. "They watched these voluntarily," Quindle reported, her voice barely audible. "For fun. They gather in groups, often consuming recreational food items, and subject themselves to prolonged psychological torture." The implications horrified the research team. If humans created such nightmare scenarios for entertainment, what did that reveal about their actual capabilities? What kind of species found joy in simulated terror? Dr. Zethkari compiled a comprehensive report, but the Galactic Council dismissed his concerns. "Every species has violent mythology," Council leader Vorthan declared. "These are clearly exaggerated fantasies, nothing more." Determined to prove his point, Zethkari organized a mandatory viewing session for the entire Council. He selected what humans had rated as moderately scary, a film called The Conjuring. The results were catastrophic. Council member Del Rin of the Aquarian Collective suffered a complete nervous breakdown during the basement scene and had to be sedated. The entire crystalline delegation fled the chamber when the music box began playing. 3 species formally filed complaints with the Galactic Ethics Committee, claiming the viewing constituted psychological warfare. "These creatures are monsters," whispered Vorthan, his usually commanding voice reduced to a terrified whimper. "What civilization creates such horrors and calls it entertainment?" The research team delved deeper, hoping to find some explanation, some context that would make human horror films comprehensible. Instead, they discovered that humans have been creating increasingly sophisticated terror entertainment for centuries. They found evidence of horror literature, radio dramas, television series, video games, haunted attractions, and even immersive experiences where humans paid to be chased and frightened. "Look at this," Quindle reported, her hands shaking as she displayed the data. "They have entire festivals dedicated to celebrating fear. They dress as the monsters from their films and distribute confections to their offspring. They voluntarily visit locations designed to terrify them." The final straw came when they discovered human reaction videos recordings of humans watching horror films. The research team expected to see the same trauma responses they had experienced. Instead, they found humans laughing, cheering, and actively enjoying the experience. They're not afraid, Zefkari realized with growing horror. They're entertained. These scenarios that reduced our finest minds to quivering Rex humans find them amusing. The implications were staggering. If humans were entertained by situations that traumatized advanced alien civilizations, what did that say about human psychology? What were they capable of in actual conflict situations? Doctor. Zefkari's final report to the Galactic Council was brief but definitive. Recommendation: immediate quarantine of the Sol system. Species designation: psychological predators of unprecedented capability. Under no circumstances should contact be attempted. The Council voted unanimously to implement the recommendation. Within hours, every exploration vessel was recalled from human space. Trade routes were redirected. The entire Sol system was marked with the highest level warning beacons. Years passed. Human radio signals continued reaching alien monitoring stations, but no one dared analyze them further. The horror film research had revealed a truth too terrifying to contemplate. Humanity represented something entirely outside the galactic community's understanding of normal psychology. Occasionally, young alien researchers would question the quarantine. They would be shown exactly 3 minutes of the ring or paranormal activity. Without exception, they would immediately endorse the continued isolation of humanity. The humans, blissfully unaware of their reputation as the galaxy's most psychologically disturbing species, continued making horror films. They created franchises, reboots, and increasingly elaborate scenarios of terror. And somewhere in deep space, the Galactic Council maintained their vigilant watch, ensuring that the creatures who found joy in fear would never discover they had. An entire galaxy of potential audiences far too terrified to ever make contact. In the end, humanity's greatest defense wasn't their technology, their military might, or their diplomatic skills. It was their ability to transform their darkest fears into entertainment, creating psychological weapons so powerful that an entire galaxy chose isolation over the risk of meeting their creators.